Today we'll change the format a little bit. Hi Tay, yes, it's been a long while. Well, a month. I usually do once a month. I think in the next once with a new update, we'll probably do a bit more. We'll probably do like I think twice a month, probably with a lot of the update get quite complicated, so it requires quite a bit of sharing. So hi Amit. Yes, I mean today we will change the format a little bit, so hopefully I can give you guys some values, uh, and also kind of just set the tone for the new year 2022, how we are going about it, what are some of the updates, what you will expect from Riders End, what you expect from the products and the team, um, all of that. Hi Muhammad, can you show keyword cluster from Atom Bomb? Atom Bomb? I don't think Google allow that kind of keyword. Let me check. Wonder if they have data on that. Oh, here it is. Oh, 9,000. 2003. I think you do cluster here. Hi, Denise, Jane. Welcome from Italy. I guess I can click on activate and see if by the end of the webinar we can get some data for you. But I don't think we can see a lot at the moment. Um, yeah, one of the things is that very sorry that we haven't launched out any of the new updates lately, but I can assure you that we're working very hard on it. It's just that the upcoming update is pretty major and require quite a bit of work from our ends. Even the design, I don't think we ever have any feature that took us more than 2 weeks of the design of the flow. But these new features took us 5 weeks in total just for the design work of it. We have to consider quite a lot of things. I mean, you all know that we place a lot of importance on the way we design certain things, and we don't like to just kind of look at the problems and try to put in as much stuff as possible. I realized over the time of building product is that it's more difficult to take out things. You have to be able to take out things that are not important, just like the ability to say no. So when you are able to, it takes a long time to really look at the whole set of data, just like the way you see our keyword explorer. I mean, we could have put in a bunch more data, but out of all the data we got, we chose to select only a few, and we chose to design it in a way that is not obstructive of the other stuff. You can see, like, you see the keyword, and only when you click on it you'll be able to see more data, and you can just close it and it disappear. So it's never appear in a way that is obstructive or intrusive of the way you look at certain things, even the way we design this, so on and so forth. So yeah, so that what took us so long in designing the new features, just simply because of how complex it is, uh, in that end. Can you say my name so I may understand it? It is live. Lokesh Kapoor. It is live. Hi. Hi, guys. Okay, I think we are closing. I think 5 minutes more. All right. I will. Somebody clocks is it right? Supposed to be 9 a.m. Eastern. Oh. Uh, I'm not sure what was the data on our end. I'll ask my team to double check. Team. Hi, Jenna. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, guys. we're live just a bit earlier and to get everyone in and settle, and then I can start around 10 p.m. here in Malaysia. Today I will change the concept a little bit. We will actually go back and look at the beginning of each year since 2020, so 2 years ago. And we look at the analysis of all the SEO expert on Google Trend, right? The first part of this webinar, I just want to go back and we'll start looking at the trends on SEO in the last 3 years. And we start reflect a little bit on what had happened and what have came true and what continue to be and grow into the bigger trend that coming up in 2022, 2023, 2024, and so on and so forth, right? And you will see some of this insight that is amazingly kind of laid out in the last 2 years, right? And that's going to be the first part. And you can see here I already prepared 3 articles which I thought represent quite well what expert has been saying, all the SEO expert and people in the industry, people who have done and worked and built great SEO campaign, and they predict what was supposed to be the trend beginning of 2020, beginning of 2021, and beginning of 2022. And then we'll go back from 2020, and then we'll start looking through that as the first part. Why do we have to do this? Because I want to make sure that everyone who have been using WriterZen or are still in the journey of learning about SEO and what SEO is all about, I want you to understand that it's very important to know what is going to be the trend that you need to carry in the next 2-3 years, right? And the only way to do that is to come back and look a bit in the past and see what had happened in the past 3 years. I mean, I wanted to pull up into 2019, but I think it's unnecessary. I think 2018 is when knowledge graph was introduced. 2019 was when Google NLP and entities were introduced a little more clearly. But I think things are not fully evolved until 2020, and that's where people start to, all the expert, all the SEO professional are slowly realize that, okay, things are now really getting to place. Okay, so that is what we're aiming at today, and that's the first part. The second part would be I want to go into this one very interesting case study, and that's from healthline.com. And Healthline, in the last 2 years, they were able to grow their organic traffic purely from SEO. Okay, I think by today is 426 million traffic, and in the 4 years only. And I think I remember in 2018 they were only about 2 million traffic, and they grow into this industry giant of one of the hardest SEO sector, and that is health sector, right? And so we will go a little bit pass through that case study for you to see what type of, why is it that SEO was so successful, and why SEO isn't a game of a short-term vision. You can't just simply go in and right away expect your blog or everything to suddenly grow, skyrocket into 100,000 of traffic. It takes time, it takes effort, and it's particularly take a lot of discipline, right? And you want to be able to do a few really important things right, and that's what we will go through today. And in the third part, I will share with you I'll share with you a little bit on a template that we've been working on, and you can actually use this template to start working on your own strategy as well. And when you are using WriterZen, you can actually use the template to work on it. And finally, we can do like a quick case study to show you how the template could help. All right, so I think it's 10 o'clock. We can start today. Thank you everyone who are participating. All of the videos recorded today will be recorded and will be available on Monday on all of our platforms. It will be available on Facebook, will be available on YouTube, and all the other channel. Once you reach, if you missed the videos by any reason, you can come in. We will actually have timetable put in each of the videos to make it very clear, easy for you to follow. So again, like I said, I'm gonna kind of repeat it a bit again. Is that we will break the webinar today into three parts. The first part is that we will actually go back and start looking a bit on the SEO trend in the last 3 years. So we did an observation how history had played out in the last 3 years, and from looking at the last 3 years and all the prediction that happened in SEO world, we will be able to actually see a bit clearer on some of the trend that continue to grow into something that will determine how you do SEO in 2022 onward. That's the first part. The second part is that based on that, we will actually walk into one specific case study, and that is healthline.com. Healthline, from an unknown website 10 years ago, they will almost go on the verge of being bankrupt, was able to revise their content game, build an amazing SEO campaign, and become world number one health website, right? Number one in health sector, and they take over WebMD. So everyone who, I think everyone on earth would know about WebMD by now, right? You have some issue, or is it symptom cold? Is it symptom COVID? When you search that, you'll be able to see some very few players that are able to reach to the top, and it's one of the hardest sector to do SEO on. And we will go into how Healthline have done it on a, or maybe on the surface. Maybe you will have to do a bit more on the details of how they really did it. But I'll walk through the surface from our own observation, from our own analysis eyes, and maybe from there, from the trend in the past with the case study that we could see in real time, we could actually move into why we build Writer's End and how Writer's End can help you to build something similar, right? Okay, so let's start. All right, so over here, I have three websites. The first website, Search Engines Watch, and this is top 8 SEO trend for 2020, right? Let's go back all the way to 2020. Why did I choose 2020? It's because this is when Google new algorithm called BERT are being mature, right? And by 2020, I think 2018, that's when Google introduced, when it went to 2019 was Google first introduced BERT. And BERT was very important to how search engines like Google start to analyze the context of and the meaning of the content that you write. So Google constantly use different signal to measure how your content should fit and how your website should be on top over the other competitors, right? And before 2012, we all know it was backlinks. Why backlinks was the one? Because Google back then was not able to understand the context or meaning of the content which you write. So the only way for them to figure it out is two things. One is that they want to know what keyword that you include in the in your content. The more keywords you have that resemble the keyword that users search, the higher the chance that Google think that you know what you talk about. That's the first. Second thing is what type of backlinks that you have, the big link building that you have on your website. How many people that actually link your content back to their website? How many links that you have on your website with the other links? So the more links that pointing toward your website is the huge indicator for Google back in the day to think that, okay, this website is a very well-trusted website, so I will rank them on top. So that was the things of the past. In the past 10 years, Google slowly evolved into an incredibly effective and intelligent machine. And eventually by 2019, Google was able to understand the context and the content and the meaning of what you write. And Google slowly able to kind of integrate, let's say, search intent, understand the search intent, show users right away what they look for, like feature snippet, like people also ask, right? You ask a question and right away there's a short form answer appear for you. Those are the result of BERT, the result of the ability of Google as a search engine to understand what you are trying to convey in the content that you wrote, right? And so that's the reason why I start from 2020. That's when BERT start to mature as the main algorithm of Google search engine, right? It took time for AI to learn, and I take 1 year will be somewhere is when they start to mature on its own. Okay, so in 2020, all the experts put in their word, and they expect that voice search are going to be the trend in 2020. Feature snippets will continue to dominate search results, and this is correct. Is a summary of an answer to a search queries. Google display at the top of the search result above paid and organic ads. How did Google do this? That's the big question, right? The first big question we have to ask is that how did Google understand, uh, know which website to show and what content from which website to show it on the top above even at result to the question. And usually you will see feature snippet when you ask a question. So it means that the first thing, Google understand the intent of the search in a very deep level. Second, everything you write, Google understand. Google will go into your content, read the entire content basis, look for the things that you have in your content, and decide that, okay, this content is what answer the question users are asking. Now this is an incredible step in terms of technology, right? And it's also an incredible opportunity for anyone who do SEO. And this is the reason why you really have to be able to look for those long-tailed and very highly relevant search intent keyword. So feature snippet, that's 2020. More marketers will leverage influencer on SEO. This is like influencer, of course, yes and no. It's another sort of social signal. So this is again, prediction. BERT is here to stay. BERT, bidirectional encoder representation from transformer, enable anyone to train their own question answering system. This is the first major change Google has made of its search algorithm since RankBrain in 2014. BERT will impact intent queries. SEO marketer who apply BERT model increase their chances of rank on the first page on feature snippets in Google search. Right? So that's what I was sharing earlier. BERT. People will want digital experience. 44 company will move to digital first approach to improve customer experience. Whether improving page load speed is important factor. Again, it's still the same thing, right? Page load speed is always a very important factor. It's on page. You have to do it by now. 2022 is on page is a must. It's a standard you have to do. Videos will be the new king of content. While this is 2020, people think that content length will determine search rankings, right? So this is the beginning of evergreen content, which is the content that you want to invest in. The length of the content start to come back. Only high quality content can help you beat the competition page one ranking, but you also have to consider quantity alongside quality. There's a lot of arguments around the ideal length of a blog post. Research shows that the average length of the top 10 result is at least 2,000 words. That's because web page with long form, high quality content enjoy more visibility. Google start to recognize the importance of how quality content should appear. And a quality piece of content are usually a piece of content that require a lot more work, a lot more research, and it will certainly be a lot more longer than normal content. Mobile search is continuing to take over. Please make sure that your website is mobile optimized, right? Conclusion. So this is 2020. Now let's move to 2021 and see in the beginning of 2021, what are the things in which the experts are tripping, and how did we look from 2021 and look back at 2020? What was continued, right? What was the trend that was continued? Now in 2021, the first things is they say core web vital as Google ranking factor. So core vital, again, this is the on-page part. You have to talk about loading, talk about interactivity, visual stability. To use, I think that in 2021, this is the first, it's newly introduced trend, but it's not yet considered to be something so important because Google know that it takes time for a website to start adopting into a new standard of search engine. So it's not yet play into a very high ranking factor. You have all three metrics called web vitals. Google BERT looks for intent matches. Again, BERT appear again. Use machine learning and natural language processing to better understand searches what users are actually looking for. It works in more than 70 languages and almost every query in Google English. With Google BERT update, Google search engine bot have become much more conversational. So now Google algorithm can now interpret the intent of the searcher in simpler words. Now Google can understand things like the human brain. That you I want to put this in very clear perspective. Google is a lot smarter than you think, right? Um, and that's the reason why things like backlinks, things like the like signals, social signals, and all that stuff will soon to be obsolete. Because the moment Google are understanding all the things that you're trying to write and understand exactly the intent of the users, the only thing matter is the quality of the content that you have and the value that you are giving to the end users, because they will be able to right away measure how well your content is received when you are on top one, because it's almost real time. If suddenly you have an article that rank on top one, Googlebot will go in, they will read the entire content, they will actually now, okay, they will let the traffic go into your website, and they will start measuring the performance of your the users engaging with your content. And if Google see that, hey, you know what, user go in, they read the whole thing, they continue to click on all the internal linking, they continue to go into other stuff or other site on your page, and they stay there for longer than average. It means that your content give them a lot of values and they like to stay in your content. Your page will stay. That's I guarantee you 100%. Your page will stay, right? But in the opposite case, if if traffic start flooding into your website, and instead of staying there for 2 minutes and 30 seconds to read the entire content, after 30 seconds they jump out right away. They go into the second website, and 5 out of 10 users go into your website and do the same thing. Your website will not maintain your ranking, and it will go a lot faster than you think. And that's the that is going to be the trend going forward, and only quality content will help you not only rank but sustain the rank that you have. Okay, and that's why I say, don't don't try to just simply like write any kind of content. Don't try to simply like use like you use all this tool and you say, okay, AI are going to give me all this content, and you just uh, tell them to write. But if the AI content produce things that are not of value to the users, even though it's readable, your site may rank, but you won't be able to maintain that rank for a long time. And SEO is a game of a very long-term investment. You want to be able to maintain your rank. And the more and more keyword, the longer you can maintain your rank, and more keywords you will be able to rank a lot easier in the longer part, right? So that's BERT. Keyword research will become more important. More than 50% of searches are zero-click searches. It means that more than half of the Google searches, approximately 175 billion searches per month, end without click. This is because of such rich result in SERP, Google Business Listing with menus and contact information, feature snippets with an answer. What does it mean? It means that a lot of keyword, when you search, you don't actually click on the result because Google already provides you with the answer, right? But that's provided your website ad and blog content contains cover those keywords according to the searcher intent. Given the advancement in SERP and with so much competition out there, it's crucial to invest some time in keyword research to find keyword that can actually drive traffic and sales for your business. So that is long tail and targeted keyword for your business. And that's exactly that's the role of our golden filter, is to filter out right away for you those keywords that is so hidden, right? It's long tail, it's extremely high intentional from searches from the users, yet it very low in competition. Um, Understand the intent. While SEO tools are important to use, it's crucial that you analyze the search for that keyword before choosing it. In recent experiment I ran, I found that if the intent is right, even low volume search keyword with only 10, 20 search per month can still generate $1,000 a month. And this is the reason why I built Zen Matrix. And when you look at Zen Matrix, you'll be able to actually look for all the keywords that are in the opportunity zone. It's the keyword that belong to the zone where you have very low search volume, but also low in competition. They are keyword that very new and appear and are growing. And you want to invest in those keywords as early as possible because it's a lot easier to rank on the keyword that have low search volume and low competition and have it grow over time for you, right? And it's one of the most successful SEO strategy I see can apply to any of the newer website or newer sort of like lesser resource website. It's really is, please utilize that tool, right? And if you don't know what Zen Matrix is, you can come back to the other webinar we have, and you will be able to download the Zen Matrix also from our website. So with and also I want to share, sorry, one more details here is one of the secret Google doesn't want you to know is a lot of those keywords that appear less than 10 searches a month or 10 to 20 searches a month, they actually have a lot higher searches a month. The reason why Google keep the amount low is because they don't want to update real time the amount of keyword. I mean, imagine the keyword database they have, 100,000 billions of keyword that appear, and they have 15% of them are new searches every day. It means that if you constantly update your database in real time, it will take a lot of server power. And so one of the things they do is that they actually capture an average and give it a sort of like a number in the beginning. And only with keyword that are a lot higher volume, let's say a few thousand, that they update more real time. So always look for keyword with opportunities, right? Don't ever think that keyword with lower search volume won't bring you in traffic. You'll be very surprised with the amount of traffic that they bring you over time, right? Google still want original content. Yeah, again, content. Still a great content display, a crucial role in SEO ranking. Authentic content is important for business and more than just branding. Voice search, again, voice search. Artificial intelligence, most of the industry, AI is changing SEO and marketing industry as well. Google now utilize AI to provide the searches with the result they are looking for, right? And particularly when they talk about AI, is NLP product. It's natural language processing, because you want to be able to know when a Google bot go into your content or go into your competitor content, what are they reading? How do they form the meaning of the context in which you're trying to write? And the way they form it is through the use of this thing called entities, right? And I think this is the very underrated knowledge that a lot of people don't know yet, is when a bot go in, they will actually look and scan through your content, and they look through all these different entities, and they form this thing called knowledge graph. For example, I think I already gave an example a lot of time, but I think it's a very good example. For example, if you write an article about Steve Jobs, and your article doesn't contain MacBook, doesn't contain Tim Cook, doesn't contain iPhone, doesn't contain any of the other entity that relate to the knowledge graph which Google built for the name Steve Jobs, you will have a lot lower chance to rank your content, because Googlebot go in, they scan through the entire thing, and they're like, "Wow, this person only write about this guy named Steve Jobs. Maybe they don't. He's not writing about Steve Jobs of Apple." If you really want to target Steve Jobs of Apple, you will want to make sure you have Apple in it. You have MacBook or iPhone or Tim Cook or John Ivey, whatever it is. When it comes to the entities that relate to the knowledge graph of Steve Jobs, the faster you make Googlebot understand the content that you try to convey, the easier it is for you to get your content ranked to the top, right? You have to leverage on how smart Googlebot are. And that's the reason why we launched Google NLP credit, right? And the only reason why we cannot give it for free, because it's really costly. And that's, you have to, in order for you to use it, you have to purchase it on the site as one-time credit. But I really recommend you, please build it in your workflow. Feature niche snippet again, influencer SEO again. Link building start to become a lot less now. EAT again, expertise, authoritativeness and trustworthiness, and branded SEO. Principle here, as you can see, establish your brand reputation, give it top priority in 2021 SEO strategy, build brand awareness to increase the brand search. If you're working on your monthly, your life niche, then even more important for you, working to improve EAT, right? So again, you have EAT, you have content quality, you have BERT, right? And you have feature snippet, and all of this, and AI, the use of AI. So you start to see now 2020, 2021. Now let's move to 2022. And in this article, 56 experts share their thoughts on SEO trend in 2022. I really like this article because it's really show a big overviews of what it is that really changed and carry on into becoming a very strong sense of the next few years. Focus on user search intent, 55%, right? Content quality. Oh, Facebook is not cooperating. The feed keep freezing. Can you go to our YouTube channel? We're also live on YouTube right now. Content quality, second. Internal linking, third. And these are the three things we have been constantly talking about since the beginning and the creation of Radazen. You have to focus your keyword research on user search intent. Use our Zen matrix. Use our golden filter, right? Use our keyword cluster to group them together. Content quality. Build a great outlines. Include Google NLP in your content, right? And internal linking. Build a graph of topic cluster and all of the article that you need to build and internal linking them in a system that make your Google bot really easy to understand. Then it go into quality of backlinks. So now quality of backlinks from a very top become a lot less now. Structured data, EAT, feature snippets, optimization. Feature snippets is slowly become not as good because people realize that it doesn't bring in as much organic traffic because user will just read, see the answer, and they exit, right? And the rest is here. You can, I will send the links of this after this. Or perhaps I can post a comment here. All right. So as you can see, focus on user search intent. These are all of the highlights from other users talking about user search intent. SEO will continue to look for ways to delight every single visitor that comes to their website, even those that might not ultimately convert. They can do this by making sure every interaction and design element has voice and is remarkable. So what it means is when you look for a long tail keyword, right, and you write a piece of content about it, and you rank for that keyword, user will go into that keyword, read your content. You want to make sure that within that content, you right away have another article that ready for them to continue to look on those, right? And that's the internal linking factor that I was talking about. And we will go in a bit more detail when we look at Healthline, one of the best case study in the recent years of SEO strategy. What I want to do today, I'm sorry, is a bit more it's a bit more theory heavy, but I want all of us to really understand why content and the way SEO is changing so that you could be very prepared for 2022 for whatever you are building, right? And so you see, focus on user search intent is number one, right? Content quality, the way you write the content, you cannot just simply write anything now. Google understand, your users understand, and Google measure how engaging your user is with your content. So please invest in building a good content quality, build good outlines, put in effort into research, and craft a content that you know is valuable, because that's the only way for you to rank in the long run, right? Internal linking. And then you have quality backlinks. Quality backlinks is a very standard thing nowadays. You have to, if you have a blog post, please cross guest blog with other blogs that have higher sort of like site scoring, making sure you have those linkings built weekly. So in order for you to bring up the scoring of your website. Content updating, you want to be constantly updating your previous content. Structured data, EAT again, right? So as you see the trend going forward in 2024, it's going to continue to be content quality, continue to be user search intent, continue to be EAT, and it's continue to be internal linking. And those going to be the four biggest things that have happened in SEO. And as you can see here in this list, you're not going to be able to do all of them, right? No one here are able to cover all of this. But as you can see, if you know 2080, the 2080 principle, right? You focus on the 20% you can control, the one that actually give you 80% of the result, and you do it really, really well. Instead of you trying to do everything it's mediocre, it will give you a lot better result. And that's the whole point of us building Writers Ed. We kind of just want you to focus on those things that we believe that matters. Focus on doing really good keyword research, finding those keywords that hidden, that opportunities that are not yet discovered by your competitors, and it have very high search intent value. Focus on content quality, craft really good content quality, structure your topic cluster, structure your article list, and structure the internal linking between those first. And if you do all of those things really well, and then you start building backlinks into it, you have a lot higher chance to rank. I guarantee you have a lot higher chance to rank than you go in there and try to do everything right. Oh, today you do on page, you do internal, you go and you buy a bunch of backlinks. You try to write a lot of articles on a lot of keyword, and you just kind of shoot it out, publish and index on your website, and you expect that traffic will just go in and you will convert. That's blindly going to a battle. SEO is a very disciplined practice. It requires sequential steps. You have to start with building a structure. And then you go into keyword research, and then you group the keyword together, and then you start crafting the content under each, and you connect those content together with a map of internal linking system. If you do all that right, do it right first, things will turn better for you. I guarantee. Right? Okay, as you can see here, interesting fact. EAT again, brand awareness. So again, these are the trend. Now let's go into one of the very successful, one of the most successful case study of a website in the recent history, and that is healthline.com, right? And healthline.com, as you can see here, 2020, 2012, 13, they are almost zero traffic. By January 2017, they are only less than 2 million. By this is a keyword. Sorry, this is a keyword trend. Healthline has, sorry, I think we have a better. Oh, here. Over the past 2 years, Healthline had grown from 2 million monthly sessions to well over 62 million monthly sessions, in large based on focusing on developing high quality evergreen content and creating subset of social content intended to go viral. Right? So as you can see, Healthline is one of the most successful. Look at the traffic graph. The most successful sort of case study in recent years. Look at their traffic. Search traffic is 424.5 million monthly traffic. And so you look at this and you will want to wonder, how did they do it? If you go into Healthline, you start to see why. The way they structure their content. This is really great. First, topic cluster. What are some of the cluster that they built? Nutrition, sleep, mental health, fitness, product reviews. Big cluster. This is the first step. When you go in there, you want to discover right away all of the cluster that they have. And you can see here, sexual health, sleep, product reviews, parenthood. So they break their content down from the top level. The first major cluster, nutrition. Go to topic. From here, they start building into smaller topic cluster. Healthy eating, meal prep, lifestyle diets, weight management, vitamin supplement, condition, and product. Right? And if you click on each of these subset of a cluster, you'll start seeing more subset of cluster: health, sex, skill, identity, pleasure, birth control, relationship. Click on one. Now it's going to a little even deeper. So you see the way this website structure to earn 425 million web traffic is exactly the way I've been sharing with you how I say you have to build the topic cluster from the very top to bottom. So you build from the very top. What are you trying to target? And then the second subtopic, what come out of that subtopic? If you target some very ginormous big niche, you'll have to break it down into even smaller and smaller niche. And each of these become almost like a map, topical map that go down. And the more you build, the more horizontally you could build this map, the more Google will know that you established your dominance, your understanding, your expertise, your trustworthiness, and your authoritativeness on this topic, right? As you can see here, everything, and if you click on any of this article, you'll see that they are not a short article, extremely quality, extremely long, and is full of very helpful information. And they're laid out in very clear design of section. If you look at this data analysis from writer's end point of view, you'll see that, let's say we can look right away into nutrition plan. Um, let's say here, and you click on competitiveness, you'll see Healthline right away on top. If you click on it, you'll see a Healthline design the structure super well, right? Our bot go into their content and right away can see their structure put out in this manner. And this happened to every single article of healthline.com. Extremely well structured. H1, H2, H2 here, and then H3, 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 H2 again, H2 again, H3. Every headlines reserve a role, and every headline will show a certain point of view, and they uh, they want to show to you, right? And if you click on Live Strong, for example, not even remotely close, right? Not even remotely close. The way they structure their content. You look at, see, WebMD isn't even here. See, if you look at majority of the content structure on some of the very hard to rank keyword, you'll see that most of the website that consistently appear on each of these SERPs position, their structure is so well thought and so well laid out. And that's the reason why we build this outline to use. We want you to be able to experience the same thing. Once you start writing, this shouldn't be a question. You have to have this built out very clearly, right? And so that's go again into Healthline. Very, very well put together content, extremely. And then the second thing they do really well is in each of these article, they do extremely well in internal linking them. First thing first, what is sexuality? Sexuality broad term that names first internal linking. You click on it, and right away, different article is they link it to another website that show what is sexuality, right? And then you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 here. Sadly, most if not gender non-binary, non-conform people entirely here, here, and here. They do such a good job of internal linking everything of their content, so that if you are the reader, you go into any content, you will actually have the tendency not only to scroll but to continue to click. They understand Googlebot extremely well. They understand that the longer you keep the user engaged onto your website, the higher and the longer their page will be able to rank. Period. Right? And I mean, you look at the number. The number never lies. This is their statistic. And if you look at this number, is even crazier. Healthline ranks for 2.2 million keyword in the top 10, page one of Google. Their website has 46,100 pages that rank. They don't even spend any money on ads. That's how crazy it is, right? And so, how did Healthline got here? It wasn't overnight. It wasn't overnight. SEO isn't overnight, right? So, again, I want to come back into this highlight a reality, so that everyone, all of us who are using Radizen, please remember, do a few things really good and making sure your content that you produce are extremely high quality. That what is the site that show you this number? You can go to, so right now this guy used SEMrush. I mean, I just search online Healthline SEO or organic growth or Healthline SEO case study, and you should do that with, if you have a niche and you have quite a few competitors, you should do that. You should go into the competitors, and you study their SEO growth, right? Usually someone will actually write a case study about them, and you'll be able to actually figure out what is it that they do right, what is they do wrong. But if you look mainly at all of the page that rank really well, they focus very strongly on content, quality of internal linking, and the organization of the way their data are organizing, right? I mean, this site take over WebMD, right? So that is the second part of our webinar today. Sorry, I think it took a bit longer than I thought, but I hope that helps you determine what you need to do in the next year and the year after, right? And you have to again be reminded that SEO is a game of long-term investment, and you want to make sure that you do it consistently and persistently, and making sure that everything you do, you draw a very clear and organized map, so that every bot, Google bots or human reader come in, they will be able to right away recognize the structure that you draw out for them, right? Okay, so now the third part is, let's talk about some of the updates. The updates should come by beginning of February, and throughout the month of February, we'll roll out a few major updates. So the first updates are probably gearing toward the new dashboard that we've been focused on building. We will actually build in a series of videos of recommended workflows, where I will break our process of using Radizen into 5 distinctive steps, and you will be able to, at any given moment, access that videos and see how you can utilize the tool from that point of view. We will also actually provide you with some of our workflow templates, and also written form of the guidelines, almost like an ebook. We're working on it, but the sample, it will look something like this. So you will be able to access into this file, and we pre-build a file to show you the entire workflows of how to utilize Radizen from top to bottom, start to finish. We will also integrate the booklet that you can read to ensure that you understand why we build things the way we build, and the mechanism behind things that we built, right? And as you can see here, we break them down into 2 phases, research and execution. And this is the graph that you could utilize to build your own graph of your own niche. First of all, you want to utilize using topic discovery. You break them down. What's your pillar page? What's your subtopic 1, 2, 3? If you have bigger website and you want to target bigger and larger audience, you can actually even break this down into more detailed layers, just like Healthline did. But if you have a new blog that you target specific need, I suggest that you will start from this first, right? And this will act almost as a foundation of how your site will structure. This goes in the sitemap structure that you will build, and you show Google how you form your content. This is also extremely important to show Google that you have expertise in the things that you talk about. Second, you will then move to Keyword Explorer and you use our golden filter to look for long tail keyword. And you can utilize our Zen matrix. I also integrate in the file the O in title function, explain for you all the FAQ regarding around the O in title data, why some data sometimes is different versus than the other, but it doesn't change the ability to filter out those really long tail, high quality keyword with extremely high and relevant search intent with users. Golden filter, how did we approach it and the mechanism behind it, and why, how you can use either filter by ranking probability or by potential values. What are those? I know it's quite complex, but if you understand the mechanism behind, I guarantee you will be able to. Again, I'm sorry, I think someone will say it. I guarantee a lot. I won't say it again, but I am sure that you will find Zen Matrix Golden Filter extremely useful, right? ESKP function, we will change it into revenue forecast function. Forecast your keyword. When you have a keyword list, make sure you know how much money you may be able to earn from those keywords, right? Utilize that tool. I mean, it's a small little snippet of tool that we really love to use, right? And after that, you import that into Keyword Importer, cluster those into keyword, and then I also suggested practice in here using Tofu, Mofu, Bofu, Funo. We also have all the article that integrate in here for you to kind of click on and see how you can utilize that into your content article structure as well. So once you have the article layout, you will be able to, okay, now that I have top of the funnel article, let's build a middle of the funnel and then so the bottom of the funnel, integrate into the keyword and then internal linking them together. So if a user start reading the first content, they will actually be interested to go into the second and to the third content. Eventually they will become a conversion. The key again, conversion, right? And then content creator, right? I also integrate here the article about Google NLP, why it's so important. Then content creator and plagiarism checker. So that's the entire workflows from A to Z, from research, structuring everything to start execution on each of the article, and you will be able to have this file. We will send this file out. I will include this file into the email we sent out on Monday in regard to the recording of this webinar. But you will also be able to access it on the new dashboard, right? New dashboard is quite nice. I mean, it basically have everything you need. All the videos of me talking, but break down to a bit shorter range and break down to 5 steps, nicely walk you through things, why work the way things work. It all going to be on the new dashboard. Somewhere in February, middle of February forward, we will have AI writing ability integrated into the tool, right? And that is what took us so long. We spent a very long time working on this, and perhaps once you see it, you will see why it took us long. It's extremely complex piece of design. I really think our team did a great job, and I'm very proud of the team that did this. It's very complex in the way you use it, but I think that it helps tremendously. And I want to share you a bit the way we build it is we will the way we build it. Sorry, a lot of these questions are going to the Q&A session right after. But in terms of the AI session, the way we build it is a bit slightly different approach from other tools. Is we really build our AI as an assistant. It's appear when you need it and it disappear when you don't need. It's extremely unobstructive and it's going to be there and helps you every step of the way throughout the entire journey of you kind of journeying through your content, your content strategy. All right. So, so those are some of the new updates. I don't think we have enough time to go into the case study, but I don't think you will need to anymore. I mean, this is very clear how you could really go through, because each of you have a different niche, right? And if you want to see a real-time case study, real-life case study, please refer to our previous webinar. I went through a 1 hour real-time with the keyword, I think it was nutrition plan. We went through. So hopefully that will help. Please refer to that. We have all the webinar available on our YouTube channel. So huge update coming in. Hopefully by June we'll have the team function in as well. Again, like all things, we take design extremely uh, serious. Right? We take design extremely serious, and in terms of design, it's not just how things look, it's how things work. It's how user click on a button and how that button interact with the users. What things should appear and what things shouldn't appear, right? And that's why it took us a bit longer to produce new updates these days, because each of the updates we put on now is going to be quite major, and that is the webinar today. Let's go into some of the Q&A session. All right. Can you please how images are important to rank blog posts? Image is the integrate. It's definitely a very extremely important part of the way determining how your content may be able to rank. One of the reasons why is you have to think from the user point of view. Sorry, I gotta take a sip of water. User point of view, right? From user point of view, Google realized that Google know using their data form what type of content that will keep user engaged more with the with a with a piece of content. And Google realized there's a few things. The first is definitely image. Users spend more time and more engaging with the things that's visual. So image play a huge role. Second thing, videos form. Short-term videos form. And short videos format are growing to be even more important in upcoming years. Why? It's the rise of the short form social media like TikTok, Reel, or YouTube Short, particularly YouTube Short. Google realized the importance of this 15-second widget of videos, and it's keep users coming back, because it's forced content creator now have to kind of morph all the best stuff of their content into a very short form of videos. And it's going to be something I predict going to play a huge role in the way your content may be able to rank. For example, you may want to integrate a bit of a YouTube videos or videos form in the content that you have, and likely you'll be able to rank that easier. Um, so yeah, so that's the reason why you images are important to rank blog. Can you share Figma content strategy? Yes, it will be included in the emails we send out. Um, I was under the impression that best practice say build cluster from smaller articles, long tail up to pillar and pillar topic down. Um, there's a lot of way to build topic cluster. There's a lot of different structure, right? And all structures serve only one thing. It's to serve the fact that you show Google bot two things. One, you know what you're doing. Your house is in order. When Googlebot go in your website, they will be able to see that it's all well structured, well thought out, the way you put your content, and that show you prepare, and that show your expertise in the way you talk about certain things, right? There's several structure that you can organize your content from, and it's very purely based on also the kind of website that you run, the kind of keyword and the kind of niche that you have, right? So Google also have that in their criteria to measure what topic, what kind of way for you to build topic cluster. But the way we use in topic discovery is we actually use directly from take all the topic that are being ranked. So ranking headlines, ranking topic from the top 100 URLs. So that is to make sure whatever topic and subtopic that you pick from the tool are the topic in which already approved by Google, right? So that's the key difference. You can do several ways. But that's one of the ways in which we believe that it's easiest and the most effective for us when we build our content strategy for our clients, right? And you also actually could utilize a lot of Google user insights, like you want to search for Google Suggest Insight, what are the question people also ask, so that you can also build that into the content of each of the cluster as well. Zen Matrix available online? Yes, they are. We will also include that in the file here. You can just access the file and you'll be able to see it right in there. You click on it and it will bring you to the downloadable resource. Share the standard. Yes, this file is available. How many articles do you have ranking on page one? Actually, rather than just launch quite newly, and I think we'll invest in SEO this year. We'll produce more content. We'll start investing in really seriously invest in content, because before we were SEO agency in Vietnam, so we actually didn't really do much of a SEO international. So when we start launching rather than it was May 2020, we will focus purely on product. And it was purely from the standpoint of user loving our tool that we were able to grow. But beginning of 2022, that's when we start investing. We now have more resources and we'll start investing in our own content. And you will start seeing that by, I think, hopefully by end of 2022, you start seeing a lot of effort that we're putting into the SEO game of Brother Zen. And that is our promise. Right? We can't just be an SEO tool and not ranking an SEO tool. That would not be good, right? But SEO is a game of investment. You want to invest, and like for us, particularly with our product, it requires even higher sense of investment. We need to be able to really produce high quality content. We have to produce extremely high quality. We have to build in bring all of these sector and factors that go into place. But we have to compete with some of the best in the industry who already established in their game, right? So that is the things. Come back to me on that questions by end of 2022, and we'll sit back and start seeing the case study of Brother Zen, right? What is this side that's showing you those numbers? I will probably here. I will send it in here. This is the top 2020. This is the top SEO trend 2021, right? And for Healthline, just search Healthline SEO case study or SEO organic growth. Do you have any advice on managing interlinking on a larger site? Internal linking on a larger site is a very complex issue. I think we'll have to require it's. I think usually when the internal linking, you have to follow a certain discipline or model, right? You have to form in your head that it's all come back to the cluster. So the mapping of your topical map have to be playing on the top. Below each of the map, you have to be able to list out all the articles that you write. And from each of the article, then you will be able to kind of cross-check how one article interrelate with the other article. And from then you'll build a map of interlinking from one cluster to the other, from one article to the other article in the funnel in which you built, right? And that's purely based on your own amount of work that you want to put in. It's just purely manual work. It's required quite a bit of human work. Do you have a Basecamp tutorial for website structure from start to the website with explanation on subject like backlinks, what serve, basic step, build website? I guess we'll start building that on Academy form. It should be it's on our roadmap 2022 for our customer success team. So hopefully Academy should appear by June or maybe October, I'd say. But you could actually access that on anywhere. I mean, just search on Google. I think Ahrefs has very good basic course. SEMrush have a crash course with all the basic things to start from websites. YouTube is a great place for you to look for all this information. So yeah, you can definitely go into those. If time spent on website is a key factor for ranking, wouldn't be best expected to be linked to links to have them all open in the new tab? Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. I mean, you look at the Healthline article, right? All of this internal linking, when they click on it, oh, this is actually jumped directly on this. So depending on the type of internal linking that they have. But even if you move from one internal linking to the other on the same website, the engagement time to your website is still there, right? Google still measure the engagement, the time on site is still there, and they measure the click on the link, right? They'll be able to measure right away when you go in there. Oh, users available on site. They read to this point. They click on that link. It means that whatever that link is, it gives users enough value for them to click. And if they continue to stay on the site longer, on the link longer, it means that this website continue to provide value to the users that are on it. And trust me, users are king, right? Users are king. If user continue to search the keyword and click on your website will rank, because that's the strongest indicator to Google that this website provide value to users. That's it. And the only way for you to do that is that you have to consistently provide quality content. Can you post the link of this article after the live stream's over? My screen's blurry, back connection, and you speak really fast. Great info though. So sorry, Debbie. Hopefully you can actually go back to rewatch this. I'll try to speak slower next time. Can you add the ability to get all of your competition keyword like Ahref, Ahref? I love the software, but I find myself having to use other to get more of my competition keywords. We don't have that built in it. Hopefully after June 2022, when we start building vertical optimization, those are the things that we can definitely build. But at the moment, there's other priority that we want to focus on. If you are not selling a product like garden hoses, etc., but rather a course and other digital products like ebooks, would you not want high volume keyword? Otherwise, it's 30 a month. You may only get a few sales organic through Google. I'm so thinking right. This is from Weber. No, the point here is that you can't, if you want to sell a digital products or if you want to sell ebooks, you can't simply just write about that. You want to provide values for users. You want to be able to provide knowledge. You have to be able to build a network of all the other keywords that user will go in and find that your website provide values. Being your ability to rank on high volume keyword doesn't guarantee the conversion that you will have, because user may just go in there, look for your content, and they immediately jump out, and they will buy the course or product from other side, not yours. The only way they would decide to buy the product from your website is because they trust you, because they know that this guy provide me the most kind of values, and I know that they will, whatever the stuff that they give me will give me the values, so I will buy on this website. It's the trust that determine the ability for you to sell, not your ranking, right? You have to imagine them just like yourself. When you search for certain information, you don't simply just go into the first website and you decide to buy right away. You look for this first, you read the whole thing, you back out, you go into the second, you read the whole thing, you back out, you go to the third. You keep on doing that. And then you go back to the first, because the first gives you the most value. And then you go around in the first page. You read other side, you read other things, you see, okay, this side actually quite trustworthy. Yeah, they cover all this topic. Oh yeah, they also have this guy bought it. Okay, this is great. I trust this guy. I pay the money. Right? It's not just ranking. Conversion is a huge different other ball game. And that's my points here, is that you have to build everything from the user point of view. Okay, go back in here. How important skill difficulty metric when doing keyword research should be given more weight? Starting new recruitment website and new to SEO and resident. What's the best way for me to structure starting a new recruitment website and new to SEO and writer's end? What's the best way for me to structure the site? I think you have to start with very basic on-page stuff first. You want to go look on YouTube, some basic website structure. You want to be able to make sure your website run well and structure them well. All your sitemap is good and ready to go, robotics and everything, and whatnot. And then you go, you do all your on-page, and you start with researching your niche, researching the topic that you have, and researching and start with our flow. You can start using writers and to start building your topic cluster and build your content. So that would be a good place to start. You can refer to our other webinar that I said. Daniel, I noticed rather than show wrong number of total word count while doing a competitive research. Also, plagiarism checker is kind of weak. Does provide accurate result? Can we prove it? Rather than show wrong number of total word count. Well, word count, for example, when we do is that we actually use our bot to scan through. Word count will never be accurate no matter what tool you use, unless you go in there and you read yourself. The reason for it is because when you go into a content and you read, you don't read it like a human read, right? You go in here and some bot will actually read the whole entire content. So they will count these as word count as well. These, and sometimes they will count this, some of the other, like even the ads, when we scan through, they will also count that as word count, right? So it's a relative term. Every tool have their own way of measuring word count. There's no specific. You want to exact word count, you actually have to go in there and you copy only the word count that you see, and you go to word file and you see it, right? But it will give you a very, I mean, again, it's relative, but it will give you a very susceptible chance to know that, okay, this is a range of word count that I want to target, right? The point is not to be accurate. The point is to know a general range of what your competitors are doing so that you know what you want to compete on. All right, plagiarism checker. Again, we use Google database directly, so we actually don't go into Google. We don't actually access to, let's say, Google Scholars or a lot of other online library. We don't access to any of those. We only compare everything on Google directly from Google database. So anything that reflect content that is copied by other website being indexed on Google, okay, it will show. But if it's not indexed, for example, it won't show. So that's the concept of our plagiarism checker. It's purely for SEO purposes. Okay, I think that is it for today. We already passed the 1 hour 15 minutes mark, and hopefully the webinar today has provided you with more values, and we will follow up by sending this sample case to everyone's emails, and also the attachment of these videos as well. Hopefully by end of this month, we'll probably have the new dashboard available for you to access with integration of all the recommended workflows and everything. And hopefully within by February, if all the testing done well and our product team all things will go together, we can have a major, huge update that ready for you guys. Okay, so thank you everyone who've been listening in. You guys have been so great, and I really appreciate all of your attention and all your love to Riders End. And I look forward to see you in our next webinar. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend ahead.